As Tamil Nadu approaches the 2026 Assembly elections, it also marks a historic political milestone, the centenary year of veteran Dravidian leader VV Swaminathan, a former MLA, MP and minister whose journey spans nearly a century of public life. His career unfolded alongside the rise of the Dravidian movement that reshaped the state's social and political landscape. From the era of CN Annadurai to the present day, his life mirrors the evolution of Tamil Nadu's regional politics. We are joined by political analyst and author Mr. R Kannan to understand the significance and contributions made by VV Swaminathan. Hello sir, welcome to the show.
Hello, Pram.
Sir, renowned Dravidian leader VV Swaminathan has crossed 100 years and this is his centenary year. He was an MLA, MP and a minister, and he worked in cabinets of MGR, Nedincherian and Avian Janaki also. So what were his major contributions as an MLA, MP and how did it all begin?
VV Swaminathan is had turned 99 and this happens to be his 100th year. 100th birthday was celebrated recently. He was born in 1927 in a village called Vilvarai and Allur, close to Parayarai, which used to be one of the Chola capitals before, in the latter day Cholas' capital. This is the only Dravidian leader that I know who had touched 100 years. So we have to celebrate him and we'll have to felicitate him for having turned 100. Not yet, he'll turn 100 in 1927. His singular contribution in my mind is when he was the one who is reputed to be behind the removal of the Grama Karanam positions, Grama Maniyam positions. So this is the village head in the traditional sense. These positions were generally hereditary positions. So if I was a village head in a village, then after that my son, male heir, will inherit the... So this is a position of authority and power in the villages. So since it was hereditary, it also usually rested with the upper caste Hindus in most of these places, or if not all the places. So he is believed to have changed this by abolishing the posts of village Karnams and then recruiting village administrative officers for these 22,000 village posts through the Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission. This way, for the first time, a village head could be from a Dalit community, could be from a lesser community. It is surprising why this didn't get much traction and focus, and it was initially opposed by the DMK when MGR brought this forward, but it was based on a committee report that the DMK had commissioned in its earlier administration. So this way, the less privileged communities were empowered by this move. That I think is a singular contribution. Otherwise, the other contribution that I would think is he's a very straightforward, a very honest individual, despite he was twice an upper house MP, Member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha. Once in 1972, having been sponsored by Karunanidhi then, as he was Chief Minister at that point in time. The second time was in 1978 when MGR put forward his candidacy. And in 1984, when his term ended, he ran for the Legislative Assembly. And then he became part of the third MGR cabinet.
Sir, what was the contribution of VV Swaminathan as an MP and all that we just discussed? And what was his relationship with leaders like Annadurai, MGR? How was that relationship?
I think his relationship was close to all these leaders. He had rubbed shoulders with all of them, E.V. Ramasamy Periyar, Ranna, Kalaignar Karunanidhi, and Purashi Thalaivar MGR, all of them. As a member of parliament, if you go and do a search of his speeches, you will see that he was deeply rooted and committed to the cause, the public cause. So he would speak about freight rise or fare rise in trains. He would speak about floods in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
So a very publicly spirited and a publicly conscious individual and leader, not somebody who wanted to be in that position for his own good. It's very hard to find such leaders today.
Yeah.
This was a very upright man. So his speeches show his level of public consciousness. So
Yes,
to
he
respond
raised
to you.
many questions related to unemployment and the train services, as you mentioned, and also about
The floods.
floods. Yeah.
So this was a good parliamentarian for the 12 years that he served. And he's the difficulty with people who don't put themselves front and center is that we don't know much about them. This is not somebody who put himself front and center. He was a behind the scenes man, although he has a very colorful student past. He was the secretary of the Tamil Mandram of Annadurai University, and it was he who had invited Perarijar Anna to give a lecture twice at Annadurai University. And we're talking about the 40s. In the 40s, the Dravidian movement was considered by some as anathema. So they were not very welcome. They were not very kosher. So for him to bring him, and Anna gave a talk that later came out as a booklet, and it is a celebrated speech where the speech's title is titled "E Thalna Tamilagame," O Fallen Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
And then there was another speech where Anna spoke about Nilayum Ninaipum, status quo and the future, or status quo and the future. So at a very early age, VVS gets to know these leaders, and he once raised the Dravidar Kazhagam flag in the university hostel where he was staying, and that became a problem with the Congress students. And then he was involved in a case. So he needed money to fight his case. And since it was the Dravidar Kazhagam flag, he went over to E.V. Ramasamy Periyar,
Okay.
who was very, very frugal. And parting with money is like tearing his flesh. So he was very, very reluctant. But Swaminathan persisted with him. And he got a check for 100 rupees from Periyar in the 1940s for his legal expenses.
Okay.
So when he mentioned this to Anna, Anna was completely taken away by surprise. And then he said, let me take the check as a souvenir or a memento, and I'll give you the 100 rupees, and then gave him this money in cash. So he had been pretty close. He had impressed all these leaders. And this is why he was put forward as the candidate for the Chidambaram municipality for the chairmanship by Karunanidhi. And at the age of 37, he becomes the first municipal chairman of the Chidambaram municipality, which goes to show that he was liked by everybody. And this was in 1964 when he was 37. So he sends a telegram to Anna, who after a price rise agitation by the party has been interned. And he's kept a diary. I've said this in my book as well. And in there he says, my friend, he refers to VV Swaminathan as a friend. Now, Anna must be several years older to Swaminathan, but yet he's at least, if I'm not mistaken, at least 15 years, 16 years older to VV Swaminathan. And then he refers to him as his friend. And then he says, I got his telegram saying that he has won as the chairman of the Chidambaram municipality, and I'm happy.
Sir, these days switching to different parties and even starting a small their own party is quite common in Tamil Nadu, and many Dravidian leaders, some of them who have very few supporters, even 10 or 15 of them, they want to start a new party. But how come VVS he glued to the Dravidian ideology, and he just remained as a leader in that movement?
Times have changed.
Him to stick?
Yeah, times have changed now. People moving across parties is very common now. In Tamil Nadu, especially, we see former chief ministers, three-time former chief minister moving to a party that was once his mortal enemy.
Yeah.
So we see all that today. The world has changed much, and not for the better all the time. In the olden days, when you were part of a party, you stayed with the party. It was only when it was with a great deal of reluctance you will leave that party. In the DMK in 1972, there was a split in the DMK. This was the second split after 1961. In this split, the matinee idol, M.G. Ramachandran, was expelled from the party. And he floated his own party called the All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. 4 days later, October 18th, 1972. VV Swaminathan was close to both Kalaignar Karunanidhi and MGR, but he decided to throw his lot with MGR, and I think he chose wisely because MGR renominated him. He had gone earlier on a DMK ticket to the Rajya Sabha. This time he nominated him to the Rajya Sabha on an ADMK ticket, and he went up there. But he was away from Tamil Nadu politics.
Yeah.
So the first MGR term, and at the second MGR term, he was not there. 1977 to 1980, 1980 to 1984, VV Swaminathan was not there. Then it was the third term that he, when his Rajya Sabha term expired, he contested for an assembly ticket and made it to the Legislative Assembly and later became a minister. He would have not chosen to shift or change sides if the division in the in the DMK would have not happened.
Sir, how did he influence people on the ground, his presence, the work which he did as a minister, MLA and MP? How did it reflect on ground?
I think he was a very astute and a very knowledgeable and a well-read, a well-rounded individual. As minister, he handled as many as 13 portfolios, from excise prohibition, HR and CE, Hindu religious and charitable endowments, maybe even tourism. I think he handled tourism as well. Pichavaram is also, he has a role in turning Pichavaram into a site that is visited by tourists today. So he was a man of integrity and a man of substance. That, I think, drew a lot of people around him. As he has said in his memoirs, which is forthcoming, he says 20 civil servants came over and worked with me, because he was supervising a wide array of ministries and portfolios. These 20 civil servants, probably some of them very senior, came over and understood that this was a man of knowledge and wisdom and a man of integrity. So we wish him a glorious 100th birthday, which went by a few weeks ago. Both of us, we wish him a glorious 101st birthday and many more, many happy returns of his birthdays.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Best wishes. Thank you.